Have you ever wondered what exactly happens inside your brain when you consume alcohol? It's a question many of us ask, given how commonplace alcohol consumption has become. The human brain, an intricate network of billions of neurons, isn't immune to the effects of this widely consumed substance. Even a small amount can significantly alter the brain's function. So, what exactly goes on up there when alcohol enters the picture? Stick around as we delve into the fascinating science behind alcohol and its interaction with our brain. To understand how alcohol affects the brain, we first need to understand a little about how the brain works. Let's start with the basics. Our brain, the command center of our body, is made up of billions of cells called neurons. These neurons communicate with each other using chemicals known as neurotransmitters. There are two types of neurotransmitters: inhibitory, which slow down brain activity, and excitatory, which speed it up. Now, imagine you're sipping on your favorite drink. As the alcohol enters your bloodstream, it begins to interfere with these neurons and neurotransmitters. It increases the effects of an inhibitory neurotransmitter known as GABA. Picture GABA like the brakes of a car, slowing things down. With more GABA activity, your brain activity starts to slow down too. At the same time, alcohol reduces the effects of an excitatory neurotransmitter called glutamate. Think of glutamate as the accelerator of the car. By reducing glutamate activity, alcohol puts a further damper on brain activity. Together, this increase in inhibitory activity and decrease in excitatory activity result in the slowed brain activity we often associate with alcohol consumption. This is why, after a few drinks, you might start to feel relaxed, your speech may slur, and your movements might become uncoordinated. But what about the feeling of pleasure or reward you might experience when you're enjoying a drink? That's where another neurotransmitter comes in, dopamine. Alcohol triggers a release of dopamine in the brain's reward centers, which creates a sense of pleasure and reinforces the behavior, making you want to drink more. However, it's crucial to note that these effects can vary widely among individuals, depending on factors such as genetics, tolerance, and the amount consumed. So that's the basic science. But what does this mean in terms of how you feel and behave when you've had a drink? Alcohol's interference with brain activity has a range of effects, from the seemingly positive to the undeniably negative. Let's start at the beginning, where the first sip of a drink can often bring a sense of relaxation and even a touch of euphoria. What's happening here is a surge in dopamine, a neurotransmitter that's linked to our brain's reward system. It's this dopamine rush that often makes alcohol feel enjoyable, at least initially. But as the night wears on and the drinks pile up, the story starts to change. Alcohol slows down brain activity. This can lead to impaired memory, making it harder to remember what happened during that night out. It can also slow your reaction times, making activities like driving not just illegal, but incredibly dangerous. More insidiously, alcohol can reduce overall cognitive function. You might find it harder to think clearly, make rational decisions, or even just maintain a conversation. If drinking becomes a regular, heavy habit, the effects on the brain can be even more severe. Frequent heavy drinking can lead to permanent brain damage. This can manifest in a number of ways, from memory problems to difficulty with motor coordination, and even more serious conditions like alcohol-related brain damage or dementia. So while that glass of wine or beer might seem appealing, it's important to remember the impact it's having on your brain. Understanding the effects of alcohol on the brain can help us make better choices about our drinking habits. As we've seen, the science behind the sip is far from simple. The effects of alcohol on the brain are profound, and they can be long-lasting. When we decide to take that drink, let's consider the information we've just learned. It's not about abstaining entirely, but rather about understanding and moderation. Alcohol in moderate amounts can indeed be a part of our lives without causing significant harm. But overdoing it, that's when the trouble starts. Let's also consider the value of taking regular breaks from alcohol. These dry periods allow our brains to recover, to heal from the effects of alcohol. It's like hitting the reset button, giving our brain a chance to bounce back and regain its balance. Remember, What you put into your body has a big impact on your brain. So, choose wisely and drink responsibly.